Our next tech chat is with another Israeli-based entrepreneur who has China financing. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Moshe Vaknin from YouAPPi. And Carman Chan is back again from Click Ventures. So come on up. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It's me again. Okay, so I would like to introduce YouAPPi, our first investment in Israel. Maybe, Moshe, you could talk about what YouAPPi is doing.
YouAPPi helps big branding mobile apps like Uber and Amazon acquiring high-quality users for their mobile business, mainly helping them to expand globally outside of USA. And those big brand apps are looking mainly for high-quality users that are capable to acquire and obviously become very active users for their mobile apps.
So I understand that YouAPPi expand to China already. So,
yeah, actually, yeah, we have another venture in China. Actually, we have 2 funds from China. And we are very big, actually, in China. About 70% of our publishers partners, big players like Baidu, Alibaba, we work with them very closely. So we have a large inventory out of from China. As you're probably aware, China is very big in mobile, I think far ahead of USA. And we work very closely there. We have a big office there, about 14 people. And it's very important in China to be close to the clients, and it's going very well for us. And again, as I said before, mobile is expanding rapidly. On a daily basis, there are new mobile apps coming out of China, and we like to stay close with them and helping them.
So I think a lot of companies in Israel are interested in expanding to China. So can you share some of your experience?
First, it was not easy. To go into China, you need, I will call it the phase number 1, you have to find the first killer guy. Once you have the first killer guy, then it's easy. So that's very complicated. And I always say to my friends who's asking how to go into China, make sure he's a truly Chinese, live in China, and know the market very well. Someone you can trust him, and you can build a team on him. So we were lucky. It's not an easy thing to do, and we were lucky to find such a person about a year and a half ago. And since then, we built very good team and very experienced team. Interesting to know in China, at least in our field, mobile marketing, mobile advertising, it's a very competitive market. Not easy to find good people, because a lot of international companies coming to China and trying to get some employees that drive higher salaries, etc. So it's a very competitive market. So it was really very tough to reach where we are today. And but it's exciting. The opportunities are there. It's require patience to work slowly and understand. Really, culture is not a straightforward thing. And just saying understanding culture, it's a much more complicated. I always compare it like to love between a man and a woman. I mean, even though you know the differences, you don't need to change the differences. You have to learn how to accept them. So it's a pretty challenging in China. You have to learn the differences, see them, and just learn how to live with them, because you cannot change them, as you don't want to expect nobody to change you. So it's not easy to do. So,
can you give us some example?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a big example. Like, Baidu obviously is a very large partner in China and globally also. As you know, privacy and some other issues related to privacy in China are more, I will say, flexible. I will call it, compared to the West. You cannot just come and tell them, hey, stop this, don't do that. You cannot. You have to do it really slowly and understand it. Don't break the rules overnight just because it looks to you disaster. It is disaster, but you have to understand this is China, and you have to work on a daily basis, try to explain and what you do, and try to find common ground to make it really for them to understand that it's not the right way. But you just cannot come and tell them in front of their face, I'm sorry, you're doing the wrong thing. That just doesn't work in China.
So can you also share how did you find your first employee in China?
Actually, the first employee, I use LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I think it's the best place to do everything. Over the years, I guess you learn some tips how to find the right people. And I've been in the digital advertising business more than 17 years. So I've known a lot of people, so I can get some references. But I think that's the best way to find the first guy, not HR. I hope there's no one from HR company here. So.
I see. So you also got some investor from China, right? So can you share what do you feel? Any difference from the Chinese investor and other investors?
I think, again, we have another venture fund that actually invested, pretty big fund in China. They like to help. They're not, they don't give you a headache as the Western funds, but they like to help on the other hand. Every time I go to China, they like to meet and introduce you, and they've been really very helpful. I found it very, very good for companies. At least my company, I have like 6-7 funds around the world, and all of them are very active helping. I find the kind of investors are very helpful for me to build and expand the business. So it's truly not just money. So.
So I understand that YouAPPi also have offices in other Southeast Asia countries like Indonesia.
Yeah, Indonesia is another very big market for us as an Israeli company. Not easy, obviously, to open. We have 5 people in Indonesia, and we chose Indonesia, obviously, to be our hub for Southeast Asia, not Singapore, because for our business, mobile market in Indonesia is really big, and it's going to expand. There's a really good opportunity in the Indonesian market. They're early adopters. They like to try to learn. Unlike some other markets that are very difficult, Indonesia, it's pretty. They like to have new things. They like to cooperate. So, Indonesia is going to be the next big market in mobile. Yeah.
So, how about the Japan market?
We have office in Japan too. In Japan, we have 3 people, and we're lucky also to have an investor from Japan. A pretty big investor, part of KDDI, and Japan is a big market. I don't know how many of you know, but only 50% of Japanese market have smartphones, so it's a little bit strange, but still, believe it or not, Japanese, a big chunk of them are still using this flip phone. I don't know if many of you have been in Japan. So it's not really a feature phone, but I call this a smartphone without apps. So Japanese market is a very advanced. I think 10 years ago they already had flash and GPS on their phone device. But it's a very difficult market. Don't ever start in Japan first. It was one of my first mistakes 15 years ago. Don't go to Japan when you don't have the product and everything ready. Don't even think about it. Only after that you go into Japan, and that's what I think we have done, and it's growing for us very well. It's a big market. What's good about Japan, you have 100 million people, as you know. ROI there is pretty good, as you're probably aware. It's a very united market. And another big thing about Japan, once you succeed with 1, 2, 3, you'll have another 4, 5, 6, because everybody knows you, and they like to all of them to share success. So it's a good thing to know about Japanese culture. Yeah.
So I remember when I was covering Japan a while back, when Japan was really streaming ahead fast, and DoCoMo was the major factor. Is that still?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, again, I remember 10 or maybe more years. I used to talk to some of the Japanese, and I told them, look, smartphone is going to come to Japan. They said, no, NTT DoCoMo is going to dominate the market, etc. but that's not the case. iPhone, by the way, is the number one there. So I don't think no one in Japan ever believed that the iPhone would become number one, device phone there. So it's changing.
You got to be there to really realize all these differences, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I remember, by the way, when I showed the Japanese guy the first iPhone, the touch phone. He told me women are not going to use it because they have the nails; they cannot touch the screen. So I guess that's what I was thinking. So.
Any questions? Okay, there's one all the way over there. Okay, give me a second.
Thank you for that long walk, Rebecca. Moshe, you've expanded into several countries. You mentioned Indonesia, Japan, China. When you expand, do you send someone from headquarters to the market first, or do you hire someone locally? And then now in China, you have 40 people. Who's mainly running things there? Is it local Chinese from Israel?
Actually, no. I know it's a common thing in Israel. You send somebody from Israel, but I tried not. I tried to find a local guy, and we have a local guy there actually runs it. Again, it's harder to find the right guy, but I found that I find that this is the best way to do. And the same thing I've done in Japan. Former executive from Yahoo Japan has obviously moved to our company 6 months ago. So that's the way. I think the best is to find a local guy and that can really do the business for you. You need really to help. You need to be on the road. You have to come visit, make sure everything is done the right way. But let the local people be part of your company. I think that's the thing that I'm building in my company, is let all the local offices around the world become part of the company. I don't look at them as a sales office. I look at them as a part of our company. Okay,
good. Any last question before we move on? Okay, if not, let's give Carman and Moshe a round of applause. That's great. Thank you.